welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
Today we got 3 epic comics for you today. We got Green Arrow number 38, Avengers number 40, and Star Wars number 1. So kicking things off, let's talk about Green Arrow number 38, with story by Andrew Kreisberg and Ben Sokolowski, script by Ben Sokolowski, and pencils by Daniel Sampere. I have not read any Green Arrow books since I think the Kevin Smith run from the pre-New 52. I really liked that run, so I was excited to kind of try it out. Also, it was a really cool looking cover. It's got Green Arrow, Green Lantern, New 52, plus it's a hugely popular TV show.
Yes.
So, what'd you guys think of Green Arrow number 38?
This book, Sokolotsky.
Okay, to be fair, I have no idea what's going on. So,
No.
that definitely hurt, and if I'd read more of the story, I might have liked it better. That said, what I could follow, I didn't like that either.
And here's the thing, we take one single issue and we just read the comic between the pages and say, every comic, somebody's first comic, can we jump in, can we absorb the story, what do we think based on just that one issue?
Right.
Now, there might be stuff before this
I'm
that's
sure.
fantastic or after.
And some comics like to put in a continuity page where they explain kind of where we are, where we're going.
They did not
Didn't include it in this, and I think it was really, it was sorely lacking one. Because I thought it was a really cool Green Lantern book. I thought
yes.
Green Lantern had a lot of great, awesome moments in it.
I was surprised that this was supposed to be a Green Arrow book.
Yeah.
Well,
Because it really didn't feel like
toward the end, it became like a Green Arrow book.
Yeah.
But, the coolest moments were all superficial things, like when Green Arrow puts Oliver Queen's costume on, and he's using or Green Lantern. And so he's using Green Lantern's power to
to have an arrow
made of Green Lantern
energy.
That was cool.
That was cool
that's just
looking.
a cool moment. Yeah,
Right.
That's cool looking, and it doesn't work at all, because then the Green Lantern still has to make the arrows fly.
Yeah. So
It's not that they're just constructs that are just physically there afterwards.
No, the characters that were in it didn't really strike me as believable. I didn't really find them very interesting or
also
engaging.
unlikable.
Very unlikable. I didn't really like or identify with
They're
anybody in the
arguing
book.
with each other.
Oh, it was very
being kind of dicks to each other.
Yeah, I mean, and that can be funny and interesting.
Yeah,
but in this, it just seemed
spirited,
petty.
Yeah,
and schoolyardy.
It was so much
weird.
bickering.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the writing for this book?
I can forget it.
Yeah, it's
I read it and I'm just eh.
It's a read it, forget it.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the characters. I thought the story was very it hinged on what came before and what's coming afterwards, but at the same time, I'm not ever going to read any more of this. I can't get into it, and I couldn't get into this one thing. And any of the there was no character that I really wanted to identify with or found interesting enough to follow. Thoughts on the art?
I think the art was good.
It was
I thought
decent.
it looked like a good book.
Yeah, I thought it was passable. I thought it worked for the story, but it certainly didn't do anything for me. And I don't like this design for Green Arrow. I like the Errol Flynn beard,
Robin Hood-ish,
hat. He looked like anybody else.
He looked like Hawkeye.
He did. He has got the goggles.
Yeah, it seemed like kind of Green Arrow from the show.
That's what it reminded me of.
To make it kind of like the show, or maybe the show is like this version.
No,
of Green Arrow.
it's like his design was based off the show.
Yeah.
But the comic is clearly not the show character.
No.
So it's weird.
Yeah.
It's trying to dance this line. It doesn't really work.
The story jumped a lot.
Oh,
there were some weird cuts where it didn't flow properly, scenes didn't lead into the other.
Yeah.
No.
It seemed very jumbled.
Yeah.
And there were plot points that made no sense, like turning off all of the life support systems, apparently from a computer, because life support systems don't have buttons on their own, and the backup generators have to be turned on. Backup generators come on automatically.
The funny thing is that was my favorite moment from the book.
Yeah.
Was Green Lantern using his power.
Yeah, Green Lantern saving them.
I know, but
not Green Arrow.
I just mean that was my favorite moment of the book, and it was from a supporting character that doesn't ever appear in the book.
The Katana character comes in and murders
Yes.
some
Now
people
Katana
too?
shows up. I know who Katana is because I read Katana number 1 in the New 52. Who would know who that was or what she was doing?
Not me.
She was also the only character that I kind of liked in this book because she's like, "What the hell is going on, you guys? Shut up."
That's
She's the only
true.
one.
She was like us.
Yeah, she's like, "What?"
Yeah, quit trying to one-up each other also.
Yeah.
You're not
And,
impressing.
That's fun, that, but that's what the writer thinks is funny and cool about those characters, is them trying to up the ante on each other, and it's a little friendly competition, but it's not friendly and it's not fun.
No.
Just
By
bitter.
the end, when they part ways, it seems like they really just do not like each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're both kind of jerks about it.
Yeah. So obviously we're all passing on this book. Don't
Pass.
recommend it.
This one I was like, read it.
But you should
No.
read it.
Yeah, don't.
No. I recommend let you skip it. From one confusing mess to the next, we've got Avengers number 40, We Three Kings, by John Hickman and Stefano Caselli. I knew it was going to be steeped in incursions and like future stories. I feel like he would have gotten this story. This would not even exist if Marvel wasn't like, just please, just stretch it out, just stretch it more.
Right.
That said, I feel like this book in particular, when I first started reading it, I was like, oh no. Like, I know what's happening, and I don't even know what's happening.
See, I didn't know what was happening, so I wasn't on the same page.
Right. But, like, even I was like, what the hell? Now, this is a time jump. This is 4 months in the future.
Okay. This is like an alternate. It might as well be an alternate.
Might as well be. Yep. So,
might as well have not even fucking happened.
Right. Now, initial impressions of Avengers number 4. It is 40. It is.
I like Black Panther in this book.
Black Panther's awesome.
He's awesome. Yeah. He's doing a great job. And everything else about this book kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's so much exposition, and so many people having conversations, and so little actually happening.
Well, yeah, that's every issue of this fucking series.
There were so many places where it's like, is this supposed to make sense, or is this supposed to be you don't find out until the end of the book what's going on? Like, like there was a conversation with the Cabal.
Yeah.
That I just before they go to the incursion planet to like blow it up. I just didn't follow any of it.
No.
Like, the one guy at the computer is doing and he pulls out a crystal and he's saying these, like, cryptic things. And I'm like, does anybody know what
they're saying?
Am I the only one? Or would it make a lot of sense if I read everything?
If you've been reading everything, you might know what's going on.
Okay.
But the writing in Jonathan Hickman's books references things that he wrote in other stories years ago. And also is leading up to things. Like, it's all interconnected, but it's also deliberately made to be confusing.
Right.
Now, that said, I followed the story after a while. Like, in the beginning, I'm like, oh god, we're everywhere. But I think that the dialogue, and this is about the writing, I think, really helped to... The mountains of exposition helped to at least contextualize what was happening in this issue, especially having not read Avengers number 39, or... I think I stopped reading Avengers after number 4 or 5.
Right.
I was still able to at least contextualize what was happening and where we were going.
Right.
That said, if you're just jumping on, ends up number 40. It's got a really cool cover. It has a lot like going on where you're like, oh, Avengers, pick it up. What an alienating book.
Yeah. Yeah. What really bothered me was the central like story element that is like running the whole thing that the book is about.
Right.
By the end, I didn't understand because Black Panther hates Namor, and I do not get why. Like, there's a reason. Everyone has a reason to hate him. But
yes, but Black Panther is a real reason to hate Namor, and without the context, you don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, I was able to accept that and just be like, all right, he hates him. I don't know why because I haven't been following the story.
Why was everybody else willing to like forgive Namor or like work with him, but Black Panther specifically wasn't? Like, that was what I didn't. They're all heroes. They all should like dislike him.
If it's a separate book, if we're looking at it on its own without any context, that's a failing. They're not thinking for people who aren't reading. If you're not reading this book, it's not for you.
Yeah, don't even bother.
And for that is a failing.
Yeah.
Now, the art was good.
Oh, I love the art. I thought it was really cool. I thought everybody looked really great. There were some great moments for characters that you love or have seen forever. Like, their redesign of Reed Richards in the future is cool. He's got a beard, but it looks real and sensible.
Cool. Yeah. I like the way Steve Rogers is all grizzled and old. And
he's
cool.
the old, depowered Steve Rogers looks really cool and consistently the same age. They didn't screw that up because it's weird. Artists in comics, sometimes they can't draw children and they can't draw old people. And it's because the old, like a 60-year-old man and a 900-year-old man are exactly
the same. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But in this, Steve Rogers looks about 65, 70 years old. Like, fine.
I hate the fact that they put in the loophole. The fact that they put in the one spot where you're reading a story where you just go, oh, this is how everyone can get out of the situation that they made happen.
What's that?
It was when all the Cabal is on the planet fighting, and then Namor leaves, and that chick sees him leave, and you're like,
well,
that's the loophole for the bad guys to get out of this.
They didn't die. They all left because they saw him leave.
Yeah,
probably.
And that pissed me off because it was like, you can't even. you're going to go through this entire story and you're going to expect people to believe that they died on it.
Well, maybe they did.
But they didn't.
Because it's 4 years in the 4 months in the future, so maybe they just died.
This is probably something that would be much better as a trade.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the whole thing, and one day we'll do a back issues on it.
Yeah. One of the things I want to mention about this that really bothered me is that they spent a lot of time talking about, like, destroying the Cabal.
Yeah.
And, like, how bad it is that they've been destroying these other Earths.
But they've been destroying other
Earths, and they have no plan for what to do after. Like, the Cabal is taking care of the incursions right now. What are you going to do? And you agree you have to get rid of them. Okay, but then what? Then you've either got to go back to destroyed Earth,
then you're the Cabal.
Said was unforgivable.
Yep.
Or you've got to let the universe be destroyed? Like, and no, not a single. And I could understand where they're like, well, we'll just have to figure that. But not a single character questioned like, well, wait, what is your plan for after this?
Yeah.
Nobody did. Nobody was asking the question that me and the reader was screaming at the book.
Like, huge
well,
problem.
What are you going to do?
It's one that needs to be addressed.
Because you can't ask that question. Because then you have to answer it. But we don't want to answer that question.
We don't have an answer.
Also, because like Secret Wars will probably be that they can't.
Yeah.
All that.
I'm sorry. But let's get on with our third and most hugely popular and money-making comic.
Yeah.
This is a book that I think they were anticipating they sold 1 million copies of.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of the most popular comic books easily of 2015.
And it's a #1, too.
And it's number one.
This kicks off the story.
But it's also called Star Wars.
Right, #1.
And it's the new continuity of Star Wars. They threw out the expanded universe. Here it is, the new expanded universe of Star Wars, taking place between episodes 4 and 5, right after the Death Star's destruction, from Marvel Comics. They took the Star Wars license from Dark Horse, and now Marvel's publishing it, and here it is. Written by Jason Aaron, with art by John Cassidy. And I'm so glad it was, because here's the thing. Marvel used to publish Star Wars books, and they were really cool.
Okay.
But Dark Horse defined the expanded universe with their Star Wars books. And sometimes there were great artists and sometimes there weren't. And if Marvel's going to do it, they got to give it the fucking 5-star treatment. And I think they did. Enthusiastic / talented writing.
Give me fucking Star Wars.
Well, apparently the story was they called up Aaron and just said Star Wars, and he's like, yes. And they were like, okay, click. And there you go. So, and I think that is abundantly clear in this book. Definitely. It's a 1 issue, no ads, and just a regular sized issue, but it felt like a full story, or at least like the first epic chapter of a new Star Wars book. Now, initial impressions of Star Wars #1.
I love this book. I've been waiting for this book forever. This felt like Star Wars. It was just another chapter in Star Wars. The characters were perfect. The art was great for the most part. There's a couple of characters where I'm like, that doesn't look like Princess Leia, but that's only because I know that character so well. It'd be like impossible to do it perfectly. So otherwise, it's a great book. Loved it.
As 2/3 of us huge Star Wars fans, so it's going to be a little biased. We're going to see where the divide is, but for me, this is coming home. This is, you need to have a story like this where it's familiar yet new and fresh. It's a really hard line to toe between like just paying homage to nostalgia or being original and interesting and like organically connected to the material, and I think they really nail it. Overall, I just think it's a really fun chapter. I can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah,
I'm not the huge Star Wars fan. I enjoy the series, but I'm not like Ethan and Sal, where like I know all about the movies and I know all about the characters and I've memorized like ship serial numbers and things. That being said, I like the story. I had a few things that threw me off a little bit, like them suddenly sabotaging the planet's basically factory system for the Empire, because I didn't realize that this was new continuity.
Oh.
The characters really did feel like themselves. The situation that they got in was a scrape that I could definitely see the Rebels getting into, where Han and Leia and Luke are all acting like the characters from the movie. So that was fun. There were a few spots where I looked at it and was like, you're really referencing things that only Star Wars fans know. Like when Han is like, oh, I don't want to talk about it yet. Or I don't want to say. When he's like talking about his feelings for Leia. Or her feelings for him, possibly. I will say, the one thing that throws me with this book is that the Empire is apparently entirely lax with their security and with their suspicion of people after the fucking Death Star blows up.
Yeah,
fair.
Unfortunately, they have to be in order for you to have any stories where rebels infiltrate their facilities.
Yeah. Now,
now,
that said, the moment when Han Solo steps off the barge, and he's like, I'm Jabba's emissary, awesome.
Yeah.
Not only that, like, not only, okay, awesome story moment, awesome reveal, awesome that the Hutt vessel looks a lot like the sail barge.
Oh yeah, I saw
So
that. I
it's
was
like-
like, that's Jabba's sail
Yeah,
barge.
but it's like it's like Hutt technology, so it's like it's paying homage. Like it's not even just like it's something where like a cynical person might be like, oh, you just want me to think of Jabba, but it's also like it would make sense that like there would be like a sensibility to their technology.
yeah, a unique style. That
Like
makes sense.
Empire ships look very similar to each other. Like, you know, so I think that works. I think it was a really fun reference. There's a moment in this book that I really loved as far as story goes, and then we'll get into the art. It's when Chewie is gonna snipe the negotiator, and Han is like, "Oh, don't fire!"
Right.
And Leia's like, "No, it's him! Fire! Fire! Kill him!" And Chewie's like, "Okay." And Chewie doesn't take one shot and then fail. Chewie takes 1,000. He's like, like Chewie's like, oh, he blocked it. I'll just keep shooting at him until he dies.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he took the house down, and that moment she was like flying out of the thing. I'm like, this is really cool.
That
and
was
I think
awesome.
Blends into the visuals. Like, it's really easy to make Chewie look stupid in a comic. If this Chewie looks like Chewie,
Yeah.
He's a
and
badass.
doing things that you'd never see in the comics, like him leaping out of a sniper crow's nest.
Right.
But he looks awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone looks awesome.
I
Like,
I really like the confrontation where Luke is like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I have to face Vader.
I have to face
he
Vader,
killed
yeah.
my father. He killed you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Obi's like, no.
No.
All right, now enough of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the art in this book.
Okay.
The art's really good.
Everything looks great. It's a top-notch artist. It's a top-notch looking book.
Yeah.
You gotta keep Cassidy on this book for as long as you can. And if you replace Cassidy, you gotta get somebody great. You can't
Yeah.
phone in this book. And the reason for that is because you finally got the Star Wars license back.
Right.
It has to be good.
It has to be great.
We've also
right away.
we also had almost like a decade of shitty Star Wars. We're all still kind of coming down from it.
Yeah.
Star Wars #1 overall. Would recommend this book.
If you're a Star Wars fan, definitely.
I'd recommend it to non-Star Wars fans. I'd say like if you're thinking about trying it, jump on.
Yeah. If you're a Star Wars fan, or if you think that Star Wars might be interesting, this is for you. If you hate Star Wars, you're probably not gonna give a
No,
crap
this is
about
just
this
more
book.
Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's off the rack for today. Green Arrow #38, Star Wars #1, and Avengers #40. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Click this annotation here to see every episode of Off the Rack we've ever done. And we'll see you guys next week with an all-new Off the Rack with 3 more terrific, timely books for you guys to, absorb from our opinions.
Just leech off of our knowledge.
Yeah.
That's right. Just enjoy.
Sokolowski. That's my one takeaway from this.
One of the worst things you ever done.
Sokolowski.
I don't know who wrote it or drew it, so get it out.
Stand by. Technical difficulty.
Yep.
Oh, crap. Still in trivia, Greg. Yeah, I know. Fuck you.
Zoe.
Don't fuck this up. Fuck this up,
Don't
kid.
ruin this for us.
Need this. we need this.
We need this, Zoe.